From the studios of Iowa Public Television, this is the Des Moines Register presidential debate. The Republicans.
Hello, I'm Carolyn Washburn, editor of the Des Moines Register. So let's begin. Do you agree our country's financial situation creates a security risk? And why or why not?
I believe that it's a major problem. We have to reduce government spending. And then we have to reduce taxes.
The real loss that we have right now that is a threat to national security is a trade loss. Communist China, we should stop China from cheating on trade.
We do need to stay at 30 seconds. This is not the time to get behind. Congressman?
It's absolutely a threat to our national security. It's because we have lived beyond our means. We can't afford the foreign policy that we have.
This is indeed a time of extraordinary challenges in this country, but this is not a time for us to wring our hands and think that the future is bleak. In fact, the future is bright. Help America grow, promote the growth of the nation, and have a bright future for our kids. This, again, is based upon the strength of the American people. You look to ways to strengthen the American people.
We have got to achieve energy independence. I will make it a Manhattan Project, and we will, in 5 years, become oil independent.
You have to understand what national security is. The Constitution defines it as securing the blessings of liberty. You want to secure the blessings of liberty for the American people, you cut off the spigot that funds the political ambition of our leaders by abolishing the income tax, replace it with a fair tax system that puts the American people in control of their money. Encourage the politicians to stop spending to fund their little political cliques.
We can cut by looking at our foreign policy. We maintain an empire which we can't afford.
Very briefly, please, 15 seconds or so.
We need to start sacrificing some of these incumbents who have funded their political ambition using our money.
Remember,
who have spent overboard into deficits after promising us on the Republican side that they would limit the government and then produce the highest budget deficits in the history of our country.
A little snappier, gentlemen. Senator Thompson?
My goal is to get in. My goal is to get into Mitt Romney's situation where I don't have to worry about taxes anymore.
The longer you go on, the shorter we'll have to go.
As president, one of my goals would be I can't part the Red Sea, but I believe I can part the red tape.
I'm going to move to the next question. What specific changes should be made in NAFTA? Mayor Giuliani?
I think the main thing is it should be enforced. And the reality is NAFTA has been a good thing. America is a country of entrepreneurs and dreamers and creators. We can have unlimited dreams. We're big dreamers here in this country.
Senator Thompson, what specific changes would you make to NAFTA?
It's a long, complex document. I have nothing in particular to point out.
Thank you. I want to take on a new issue. I would like to see a show of hands.
I'm not doing hand shows today. Yeah.
No hand shows.
No hand shows.
I'm with them.
And so, is that yes or no for you? Do you believe that global climate change is a serious threat and caused by human activity?
Well, do you want to give me a minute to answer that?
No, I don't.
Well, then I'm not going to answer it.
Okay.
How about 30 seconds?
No, I want
you want to show of hands. I'm not giving it to you.
We're going to follow up on that, but what I need to know is who believes global climate change is serious and caused by human activity, and then we'll talk in more detail about it.
I believe that global climate change is a serious.
Is real, and
Let's have a chance to talk about it.
What you're watching represents the situation in our country. These folks represent the very elites who year after year after year have destroyed our Constitution, betrayed our rights, and undermined our strength created by our people in the world. And yet the one person willing to talk about that is overlooked time and time again. That person represents you.
I agree with Alan Key's position on global warming.
Because mostly, I would have to say, I'm in favor. I'm in favor of reducing global warming because I think the most important emission we need to control is the hot air emission of politicians who pretend one thing and don't deliver. Dr. Heal myself.
Let me come back. Let me come to a question that Iowans may not let you out of answering.
Massive immigration is a problem, but when it happens commensurately without the same amount of assimilation, it becomes a catastrophe.
A new topic that some Iowans say hasn't had enough debate during this campaign, and that's education.
3 words: Jaime Escalante and inspiration.
Carolyn, these are 60-second answers, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's make sure because time's going pretty quick here.
Unleash weapons of mass instruction.
Time. Congressman Paul, what's the biggest obstacle standing in the way of improving education?
Do I have to raise my hand to get a question? I'd like to address that question.
I'm getting to you.
No, you're not. You haven't in several go-rounds, so I have to make an issue out of it. I would like to address the question of education.
Go ahead.
I don't wish it to
Go
pass
ahead,
on
please.
without being
You have
addressed.
30 seconds.
They had a minute. Why do I get 30 seconds? You see, your unfairness is now becoming so apparent that the voters in Iowa must understand there's a reason for it. And the reason for it is what I'm about to say. We allowed the judges to drive God out of our schools. We cannot remain free. They will not be disciplined. Science, math, history, anything. Talk this, except when squabbling of getting the creed. That solid ground moral education they need. Serve the exercise because they understand it is our heritage.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Realistically, what do you believe you could accomplish in your first year as president?
We can make sure that the country is secure against Islamic terrorism and on the road to winning the war against Islamic terrorists. We could end illegal immigration, major tax reduction, reduce the size of the federal government, move toward energy independence, do things that we hadn't done before and that we previously thought were impossible.
That's a tall order for a year.
First, you got to strengthen the U.S. military. We have to look at the horizon past Iraq and Afghanistan and see the emergence of North Korea with nuclear capability, Iran proceeding on that path, despite what the NIE says.
Now that it is proven once again, Iraq didn't have the nuclear weapon, had nothing to do with 9/11. The Iranians have no nuclear weapon, according to our CIA. There's no need for us to threaten the Iranians.
Senator Thompson, your first year.
Well, it wouldn't take me a year. I'd go before the American people and tell them the truth.
I want to do more than talk in my first year. There are a lot of things I want to get done. First of all, after my first year in office.
Well, I like the laundry list that everybody's had, and I would agree that every one of those things is important. Reality is none of that's going to happen until we bring this country back together.
Ambassador? We're going to move to the last three candidate statements. Governor Romney.
I want to begin by saying thank you to the people of Iowa. They want somebody who will strengthen America. I know how to keep America strong.
Thank you, Mayor Giuliani.
I've been tested by having to provide leadership through crisis, through difficult crises, not just September 11. I've gotten results in the past.
Your administration in New York has been accused of handling your security expenses in a way that obscured public disclosure.
The reality is that all that information,
30 seconds, please.
The reality is that all that information was available and known to people, known 6 years ago. My government in New York City was so transparent that they knew every single thing I did, almost every time I did it. So I would be extremely open. I'm used to it. As far as, open, transparent government, I think I've had both an open, transparent government and an open, transparent life. I can't think of a public figure that's had a more transparent life than I've had.
I think the most important thing is to be absolutely authentic about who you are, not to say things today that contradict what you were 2 years ago, like sadly Governor Romney.
Governor Romney, would you like to respond?
I'm not sure.
Senator Thompson, you've expressed doubts that the recent report on Iran's nuclear capabilities is accurate.
The fact is that nobody has any real confidence in the result that they're getting. The president cannot let a piece of paper by a bureaucrat solely determine what his actions must be.
Thank you.
Conservative principles work, and they'll keep working.
Thank you. Thank you,
conservative leadership.
Critically ill, or if they have a terminal disease.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've always overcome them, and a sense of optimism is the thing I would...
Has joined up with
Thank you.
Saddam Hussein.
Thank you, Congressman.
And with the Taliban.
Congressman Tancredo, your foreign policy positions on your campaign website consist of 5 sentences on Iraq.
It's just a battle going on in Iraq. The major battle is, of course, this clash of civilizations. We are moving in exactly the direction that my website, the statement, anticipates. What more do I have to say? We're getting it done.
Thank you. Thank you. Please suggest a New Year's resolution for one of your opponents here today.
I frankly think the most important New Year's resolution is the one I'd suggest to the American people. Resolve to return to your respect for the principle that makes us free, that we are all created equal and endowed by God with our unalienable rights.
15 seconds, please. Senator McCain?
Let's raise the level of dialogue and discussion and debate in this campaign.
And we're out of time.